Smackdown tonight will air from the WWE Performance Center. It's actually probably being taped as we speak, as I record right now. It's actually going to be taped this afternoon to air tonight on Fox. Chaos, I think, is the best way to describe it at the moment in the WWE Performance Center, with all of the positive COVID-19 tests that have been coming out the last week or so, the testing procedures, the shoddy testing procedures, the lack of health and safety procedures in place prior to this. These positive tests is just, I mean, we've made a couple of videos about it on the channel now. It's horrendous. It's really, really bad. So tonight, we had a couple of things planned for SmackDown, or were announced by WWE for SmackDown. They're not happening, and the reason as to why they're not happening is because, like I just mentioned, the positive COVID-19 tests. Now, PW Insider is reporting that there will be major changes to tonight's episode of SmackDown due to the news that multiple performers, employees, producers, and others have tested positive for COVID-19 this week. Due to these positive tests at the WWE Performance Center, WWE has had to scramble. They've had to make a lot of changes to the taping for tonight's episode. Now, the details about these changes are still to be revealed, and they're slowly coming out from sources inside the WWE Performance Center. But last night, WWE, kind of out of nowhere, it is in keeping with the news about The Undertaker this week that he is retired, or is allegedly retiring, even though he hasn't used those words himself. It was announced last night that we're going to get an Undertaker tribute tonight on SmackDown, which will, it said on the preview that it would include footage from the Boneyard match between himself and AJ Styles at WrestleMania 36 this year. That has actually been updated, that tonight we're going to see the full match. We're going to see the entire Boneyard match in its entirety tonight on SmackDown on Fox. And it's been reported that this Boneyard match, actually, the replay of it will take up roughly half of tonight's airing of SmackDown. So it could be about an hour long, including commercial breaks. I mean, the Boneyard match at WrestleMania was about, it was over 30 minutes, wasn't it? Because a massive cinematic production, cinematic event. It was great. It was phenomenal. It was the best Undertaker match in years, and one of the best WrestleMania main events in a long time too. But including commercial breaks, it's going to take up roughly half of tonight's airing of SmackDown. Now, certain things that were announced last week that don't look like they're going to happen this week would be the Intercontinental Championship match between AJ Styles and Drew Gulak. Now, AJ Styles, the Intercontinental Champion, did share the ring last week with Renee Young, who of course tested positive for COVID-19 this week, so that might be the reason that the match isn't happening. We don't know. Look, the only positive COVID tests that we know are the ones that have come out and stated publicly. Otherwise, there are people that have probably tested positive that we don't know about at the moment. We know, I mentioned earlier, there's roughly about 30 positive tests, probably more so far that we know about. In addition to the Intercontinental Championship match not happening, the reaction that they had announced of Braun Strowman to Bray Wyatt's Eater of Worlds character returning last week has been removed from WWE.com's preview of the show. It is expected that we're going to get appearances from Matt Riddle and Jeff Hardy on tonight's show. However, the previously announced toast to Jeff Hardy by Sheamus that was announced last week doesn't look like it's no longer happening. It looks like it's been removed from the preview, the WWE.com preview of tonight's show, so that doesn't look like it's happening. So it looks like, as I mentioned, we're going to get the Undertaker the Undertaker Tribute, excuse me, so many previews on my mind at the moment. The Undertaker Tribute is going to be the majority of SmackDown tonight, which is going to include, I think it's going to include some clips from The Undertaker The Last Ride, the episode 5 that just aired this past Sunday. I think also it's going to include probably some tribute package, some tribute videos, some interviews from WWE superstars, probably the likes of Triple H, Vince McMahon, Shawn Michaels, etc. John Cena will probably be in there too. And I think I wouldn't be surprised if at the end of the Last Ride episode this past Sunday on the WWE Network, if you haven't watched it or watched any episodes of the series for that matter, be sure to go out and watch it. It's the best thing that the WWE Network has ever produced. It's the best documentary series that WWE has ever produced. It's phenomenal. It's just brilliant behind the scenes look at a character that has transcended WWE, and a character that's been so kayfabe, so protected over the last 30 years that we just haven't seen that much about, and it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. But at the end of that episode, we did see a sort of a video package, a music package about the Undertaker's career, the respect that he has from his peers in the industry, set to some country music song. I can't remember what the song is off the top of my head, so I'm sure we'll see that tonight on SmackDown. In terms of an appearance from the Undertaker himself, I doubt that's going to happen. The very most that we might see him have recorded a message from his own home in Austin, Texas, that could appear on the show. I think that's unlikely, though. They'd have to scramble very, very, very quickly to get that done, and I'm just not sure that they have the turnaround time to do that at the moment. But I could be wrong, though. We could see an Undertaker appearance by satellite. I just don't see that happening. I think the Undertaker Tribute is going to be mainly, as I mentioned, tribute videos, the Boneyard match, and then interviews about the Undertaker. But that's taken up about half of the show. So that just shows how much craziness, how much chaos has been caused by this COVID-19 testing outbreak that we've seen at the WWE Performance Center this week. And it's WWE's fault. They are the ones to blame. I'm not putting all of the blame at WWE in terms of they're the reason this is spread throughout the WWE Performance Center. Florida, as we know and as we've seen in the news, is a hotbed for the coronavirus right now in the United States. However, WWE has had to do more for their testing and their procedures, their health and safety of their superstars, their employees, their production staff, and they did not do that. They haven't done that. Only until last week did they start fully testing for COVID-19. Prior to that, they were doing temperature checks. People were being let in even though their temperature was higher than the threshold for those temperature checks. They were being given medical questionnaires to superstars, talent, and production staff, asking, quote, "How are you feeling today?" That was it. That was the extent of their COVID-19 test prior to last week. And wouldn't you know, once they start actually properly testing for COVID-19, we have multiple positive tests. And it makes you wonder, prior to this, because they reckon that COVID-19, it'll last about 2 weeks. You can have it for about 2 weeks. If it's mild, it can obviously get worse and lead to very, very, very serious complications. But we don't know who already had it in these couple of months prior to WWE testing. We just don't know. And that is, in my opinion, that is pure negligence if these allegations are true. It borders on criminal, and WWE really needs to have a hard look at themselves and look at the protection, the health, safety, and well-being of their performers. Thank God the Undertaker's not there. I mean, I know the Undertaker's not completely in the high-risk category, but he's an older guy. Who knows the underlying health conditions that any of these employees have? So to expose them to a potential environment that has a lot of COVID-19 around is just terrible. But yeah, the major news is that there are rewrites going on as we speak. I'm sure there are rewrites going on during the taping of SmackDown as we speak right now. The Undertaker, we're going to see a lot of him tonight on SmackDown. We're going to see a lot of the Undertaker in this tribute that SmackDown are going to be doing to him tonight. Look, I'm not totally against the tribute, and to be honest, I'd rather watch the Boneyard match in its entirety than have performers be subject to a dangerous work environment, to have people that have tested positive for COVID-19 be working, people that have asymptomatic COVID-19 be working. I'd rather watch the Boneyard match in its entirety. Some people will complain, say, oh, they're not releasing new content. Well, guess what? I've been saying that they should postpone the tapings or just air replays of old episodes of SmackDown, old episodes of Raw, stuff from the Attitude Era, whatever, because it's not important. Professional wrestling is not important in the grand scheme of things when it comes to people's health, their well-being, and their lives. These are the lives of the employees, their loved ones, their family. You look at people like Roman Reigns, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. They were right to stay home. They were absolutely right to stay home, because they don't want to potentially hurt their families. They don't want to potentially get their family sick or even worse. I'd spoken about Bray Wyatt there. He's just had a child. Do you think he really feels safe going into that performance center and potentially bringing that virus home with him? I mean, it's madness. It's madness. So tonight we're going to see a lot of The Undertaker. It's not a bad thing at all. I'd be happy to see a load of Undertaker matches from the past. Why not? Why not? And probably see some interviews. The Boneyard match in full. I'm happy to see it again. I don't think I've watched the Boneyard match in its entirety since WrestleMania. I watched it a couple of times like right after it finished because it was that good. And let's be honest, there might be some people that don't subscribe to the WWE Network that haven't seen the Boneyard match, didn't watch WrestleMania for whatever reason this year. They're going to have their minds blown because it's the best Undertaker match in a long, long time. It's the best WrestleMania main event for a long, long time. Probably since, WrestleMania 31? Probably is the best main event since then. It was that good. So if you haven't seen it, prepare to have your mind blown. If you haven't seen any of the Undertaker The Last Ride, go and watch it. You'll probably see snippets of it tonight on SmackDown. And try not to cry too much if they aired that Undertaker tribute video to the music, the cowboy riding off into the sunset. It's a brilliant music package. It's a brilliant video. I'm sure there'll be lots of people having a tear tonight on SmackDown. But of course, will you be watching SmackDown? It's not just about me. What are your thoughts on having The Undertaker take up 1 hour of tonight's SmackDown broadcast? Is it the right thing to do considering the COVID-19 positive tests at the moment? What do you think of the whole COVID-19 chaos in WWE right now? Let me know in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Wrestle News 365. You can do that by clicking the bottom right-hand corner of the screen right now. If you wait a few seconds, there'll be a subscribe button at the end of this video for you to watch as well, along with another video for you to watch. Go to the channel, watch a load of videos there. Be sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms at 365Wrestle and at Wrestle News 365 on Facebook and Instagram, at 365Wrestle on Twitter. I nearly forgot there. And go to Wrestle News 365. We're updating it with articles, stories, breaking news, latest news, all of that good stuff at WrestleNews365.com. So be sure to go there. There's a link in the description box below. Thank you very much for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. And I'll speak with you again very, very soon. Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.